morning and welcome to Now Streaming. I am your host this morning, Chikwebukaike, and we're glad you joined us today. Joining me in the studio this morning is our special guest this morning in the person of Mr. Kelechi Onwudiwe. He's an Abuja-based sports analyst and commentator. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice to be here. Good morning to you.
Welcome, sir. All right. So joining us virtually, our comrade Abraham Soko. He's a political and sports analyst, and also I have Mr. Patrick Mwogu, former vice chairman of the FCT Football Association and former sporting director of Abia Warriors FC of Umahia, and he's also presently the executive director of ECN Global Ventures Limited. They are the publishers of exclusive news newspaper. Viewers, my guest online, I don't know if you can hear me. Good morning, Mr. Abraham Soko and Mr. Odogu.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you so much for joining.
Ebuka, how are you very well?
We're very well. We're doing fine this morning, sir.
Good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
All right, sir.
Casey, I can see you clearly.
Thank you very much. Nice to know you on the other side.
All right, viewers, we've got an exciting show lined up for you this morning. This is now our sports focus segment, and we have a lot to cover. Still with me in the studio is Mr. Kelechi Onwudiwe. Thank you for here. And also just joining us now is Mr. Tolulokbe Oguntume, and he's a sports analyst. Welcome, Mr. Tolu.
It's a pleasure to be here. That's
all right, thank you. Viewers, also we still have virtually Comrade Abraham Soko, a sport analyst and a political analyst also, and Mr. Patrick, well known as Mr. Odogu, is also with us virtually. All right, so please join us via our various social media handles, showing your handles to send in your comments, or call our various phone numbers now to send in your comments also. So, but before we talk about some of the major stories on the sports, let's take a look at the Punch Sports Extra, and it says with its lead story, it says time to dream. And there we have Boniface, Stella, Lukman as the battle for Europa final sport. Okay, is on page 6 of Punch Sports Extra. And also we have Osimhen doubtful for Bologna clash. All right, find the details on page 6 also. Now page 7 has the story of Finidi to name Eagles assistant coaches very soon. Page 4 has Sancho uninterested in United return. Then page 5 we have Palmer Hills goes to after winning Chelsea award. All right, so just to take a few of that, and then we'll be focusing this morning on the appointment of George Finidi as new Super Eagles coach. That's my major focus for this morning, and just to run down a few of it. It says NFF appointment of Finidi George as a new Super Eagles coach it looks like something that is foreseen, because he has always been there at the background. Even when we had issues during the AFCON, he was there to stand in and has been part of the technical crew. So I want to know what's your views, gentlemen, about this. Finidi was once a Nigerian Super Eagles player. So yeah, he has experience as a player and he has experience as a team coach, because he has coached a team, and he's before his appointment he was the coach of one of the Nigerian local teams. Yeah. So well, let me start from you.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your view on Finidi's appointment?
I think it's the right step in the right direction. Considering the fact that for the last 20 months he's been with the national team, he has been understudying Jose Pesero, the former coach, and the fact that he played football to the topmost level you can never think of when it comes to playing for the Super Eagles. He was at the World Cup, he won Nations Cup, he won the UEFA Champions League. He played under arguably one of the best football managers you can ever think of, talking about Luis Van Gaal. And he also had the experience of playing in different leagues beside the Dutch league. He also played in the Spanish league League, also playing in the English Premier League. All these experiences and the fact that he also acquired his qualification, working with the Mallorca youth setup before deciding to come to Nigeria to take up the job at Enyimba. It shows that he also has what it takes. The resume speaks for itself. He won he won the league with Enyimba last time out, and also he's in pole position to also win the league this time around. I think he has what it takes to be able to lead the Super Eagles. I think what we always talk about the fact that when it comes to the national team, your ability to manage the array of talent at your disposal matters so much. Be able to bring different interests together and be able to achieve an objective. I always believe that we have a crop of players that can lead the national team. I'm one of the apostles of those who believe that. We have players who have played for the country in the past, players who have shown that they have the dexterity to be able to manage the national team. We just need to give them opportunity. Most times we are fixated on winning, and at times we fail to take the necessary step. Is there a guarantee that Finidi is going to be successful? But the fact remains that we've taken a step to show that there are other people out there. It's just for the Nigeria Football Federation to look at how do we want to play football. Listen to some of these players who have acquired the qualification, or some of the coaches who have acquired the qualification to coach the national team, and what is your philosophy? From there, you can be able to make the right choice. The German team will always rely on their former players or coaches who have acquired me. The Brazilians will always do the same. There are times they fail. We must also come to times with that there are times they fail. There are times we don't get it right. But that shouldn't change the dynamics, that the fact that we have players, indigenous players, we have coaches, indigenous coaches who can get the job done. And I'm happy the NFF has taken this right step. Even at the end of the day, if Finidi fails to deliver, there are still some ICE International, there are still some coaches who can always manage that. Until we get it right, I think we should be ready to make mistakes and get it right.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tolu. So, Mr. Kelechi, in consideration, before the final appointment, there were other people on the list of consideration. Someone like Amunike. Do you think Amunike and Finidi would do good if the headline on the Punch Sports says Finidi to name Eagles assistant coaches very soon? Do you think Amunike will be part of those persons he's naming? And what's your view about his appointment?
Honest with you, I really don't know. I cannot doubt it. Because Amunike will see himself as his own man, good enough to take the top job, right? So they're also good friends. Many people don't know that. They're very good friends. Finidi and Amunike are real good friends. All those years they played together and all that, they maintained a friendship. Remember, they played in Spain together, for different clubs. So, and they've built themselves. They've improved their capacities. Amunike, we already know what he's done. He's taken a country, a minnow country, to the African Nations Cup. You understand? And he's been in and around the Super Eagles coaching job. He's won an under-17 World Cup. So these guys all have their advantages. Tolu reeled out everything about Finidi, that he's achieved and this, qualifications he's got. So I think they can work together. But to be honest, something tells me when he calls those assistants, Amunike might not be one of them, but I don't think that should lead to bad blood or anything, so he's at liberty to call who he wants. I actually love it now that the NFF has said he will name his assistants. You understand? Not that they're going to be selected for him. I always feel, let the guy have a free hand, the way we would give to the expatriates, and I think that's our best chance of success under anyone, be it Finidi or Amunike. Yeah. All
right. So thank you so much, gentlemen. Mr. Patrick, I don't know if you're still there with us. Please kindly unmute your mic and tell us what you think about our discussion concerning the appointment of Finidi George as the new Super Eagles coach and prospects of his technical crew.
Thank you very much. I still maintain that the coming of Finidi as the head coach of the Super Eagles, I think, is the best decision that the NFF has taken in recent time. One, I say that Finidi left Spain and returned to Nigeria to pick up a job with Enyimba International. And during his first season, Enyimba was able to win the MPFL. Now, this is the second season or thereabouts. They are almost getting there also. And he was at the continent. He played for the African, at the Champions League. So far, he is a homegrown man. Being overseas, and he has seen it all over there. And he returned home and he's doing well. So understudying the coach for 20 months is not a child's play, because not every assistant will have that opportunity, the humility to understudy somebody all through, and he did that. So NFF was right in appointing Finidi above every other person. But assistant case, I read somewhere this morning that they will appoint 3 foreign assistants. Well, I know of a coach in Nigeria here that whenever you give him a national job, he will run to Holland and pick an assistant. Although I don't know, but I know most of the time he pays from his pocket and he gets results, and Nigerians will be clamoring for him day in, day out. And if that is what will make Finidi succeed, so be it. So they should thank you, NFF, for giving him the free hand to pick his assistant. But just like Casey said, I doubt Amunike may not be part of it. I am hearing that Daniel Mokachi may be part of the group, will be appointed by the NFF. Well, it's okay, but I am doubting if the technical capability of Daniel will be able to, if he has what it takes to give us what we want at the national level. Yes, going on training and coaching courses may not be ultimate in coaching. You need to be on ground. You need to practicalize what you have learned where you went on. So I don't know where he coached last, but be it that way, let the NFF know that the Super Eagles job is not a place where you will come to learn. It is a place where those who have learned in the past will come to showcase themselves.
All right, thank you. Just Mr. Patrick says the NFF needs to know that Super Eagles is not where coaches come to learn. It's where we come to go for good and be the best. All right, so thank you, sir, Mr. Patrick. Comrade Soko, I want to hear your view. A publication that we have says that Amunike says that his name has been smeared by the in the quests getting the job, yeah. And they smeared his name over the job. So, comrade, I want to get your view. Do you think Amunike will want to come and work with Finidi George after this statement from him?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. I will start by saying that one of our anchors today, one of the hosts in the studio, said that they are men of different personalities. I want to add to that probably because of ego, these are individuals. Not to take away from the fact that they are friends, but you need to understand that these are men of different personalities, men of different egos. So working together might pose a problem because I don't think that the way it is, Amunike is contented to settle as the assistant coach right now, because we also need to understand that it was also named as a front runner for this job that was given to to Finidi George. So we also need to take that into consideration. I also want to add that the appointment of Finidi George, I've always been a proponent of the appointment of Finidi George. I've said it severally on this show. The reason for that is because right now, there's need for continuity. We performed very, very well in the AFCON tournament. We came out second, and our matches overall were very, very good. So there's need for us to build on that. So truncating that at this particular time might have not been the best course of action. Finidi George is already used to the team. He knows the individuals involved, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you so much. So, Mr. Tolu, I'm very well certain that you know that NFF has not listed out the basis of this contract.
Yeah,
What do you think about
I know
it?
the discussion has been ongoing. I was talking the judge about a day or 2 days ago at the NFF. I think the discussion continues about modalities for the job. Those are the things that can be sorted out in due course before the before our World Cup qualifier right there. I think just like you people said, Kelechi mentioned that there are two people with different personalities. I won't even subscribe to the opinion where they should work together. I think at a time, Amunike will definitely get his time with the national team. It may not be now, it may be later in the future, but you never too old to handle the national team. We've seen coaches who handle the national team in their 70s, in their 60s, so he's never too old to handle the national team. I think it will definitely, his time will definitely come with the national team. But in life, a lot of things will happen. But at this point in time, just like NFF has agreed, they need to allow Finidi to pick his assistant. That will really help him. So he's going to shoulder the blame, whether he win or loses. That's the responsibility will fall on his shoulder. He won't have any excuse to say it was an NFF who picked the assistant for him. Just like with stories we had in the match against Ghana when Egravon was in charge. So I think that would save us that stress.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So that's up next where we want to talk about the qualification of Nigeria for the Paris Olympics. And just to give you a breakdown of the details about Nigeria's qualification for the Olympics, we have our athletes. Nigerians athletes have qualified for the 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, 800 meter, 4x100 meter relay, and 4x400 meter relay at the Olympics. And we also have a women football team, the Nigerian Super Falcons, who have qualified for the Olympics for the first time in 16 years, and they are up against the joining Spain, Japan, and Brazil in Group C of the Olympics games. And also we have the wrestling team, and then we have the basketball team, we have the boxing team. So what's your view, sir? Let me start with you, sir, about this Olympics team.
Okay, it's that's those qualifications for those sports you mentioned largely ties in with our traditional strongholds, at the Olympic Games where we are strongest. Right, we are not the strongest in the world in some of them, but we are very strong in basically all of them in Africa. I'm particularly most interested in, with all due respect to the other sports, in boxing. It used to be our stronghold, but over the years we just fell off the medals. At least you see Nigeria getting silver, bronze. I'm not sure we got any gold, but we are always threatening to match the best at the Olympics. But for decades now, nothing, coming from boxing. And that, we need to do better there. In basketball, I think it's more like administration, because we men and women, we are like the best in Africa. We threaten some of the big countries in the world, at those qualifiers. But we don't have a consistent planning for delivering good performances at the Olympics in basketball. You understand? Table tennis, we've been good, but again, we're restricted to just one or two players for long. For the football team, I'm very happy for the Super Falcons. It wouldn't have been nice to follow up a good World Cup with poor qualification for the Olympics, so they managed to make it first time in 16 years. Let's see how they perform. For the athletes, I always look forward to what they do. We don't know in which discipline we'll get a medal, but we always tend to get a medal somewhere, in those races.
All right, thank you, sir. So, Mr. Tolu, what's the significance of this qualification to Nigeria?
For the athletics event, I'm really impressed with the performance of, especially from the just concluded Bahamas World Relay Championship. We have four, we qualify for 4 major events already. That's quite massive, and I'm really happy with the fact that we have new crop of athletes that are also coming through the ranks. The likes of Chima, God bless, and Favor Okeze. He surprised us with his performance at the All African Games, where he won gold in 400 meters, and we saw his performance also at the World Relay. These are pockets of success that we can really be able to celebrate, and it's the couple of athletes that are also coming to that. So I think we have a possibility of doing well at the Olympics. But most importantly, there has to be proper preparation, exposure, the right nutrition, all those factors, conducting their tests before the Olympics. So we won't have the kind of scenario we had at the last Olympics, where some of our athletes were disqualified because they didn't have the necessary tests going to the Olympics. I hope we've been able to learn from the mistakes of the past and be able to consolidate. I think if we're able to put our house in order, we stand a chance of winning medal. Especially, I'm looking forward to the possibility of Okeze winning a medal in 400 meters relay. So I'm looking for that. We just need to put our house in order. I'm happy with the way teams have performed, the athletes have performed so far.
So aside from the relay, there are no other areas where you think Nigeria can come back with gold.
One thing that surprised us at the African Games was weightlifting.
Yeah.
Nobody thought about. It used to be our stronghold, weightlifting, boxing, just like Kelechi said. But along the line, we fell off the radar and we failed to have the right aspiration. You see, for any federation to perform very well, you need to have somebody who is passionate about it, somebody who wants to like see the success of the thing. We had somebody who came on board as the president of weightlifting. Initially, a lot of people thought probably may not have what it takes, but he has proved beyond reasonable doubt that he knows what he says. He's passionate about game. He has been able to single-handedly take this athlete for international championship, participate in international tournament, and that experience has come to bear. We saw it at the African Games right there. But we need to consolidate on that. These athletes need to go participate in international event more. They need to be exposed to top class equipment. They need to have the night nutrition working for them. And I think this is the time for the federal government and Ministry of Sport to work assiduously with this federation so that they can deliver. Same thing for boxing. Sorry to say this. I used to laugh when I see some particular people engaging in boxing coming from one particular set of the society, especially from the southwest. It used to be fun to be. I don't believe that Yorubas are good boxers, but recently we get to see so many of them coming out. But I think it also boils down to the investment in grassroots boxing in Lagos. There are so many weekend, monthly boxing competitions. So we gradually, you see, it just boils down to the fact that because we used to have the people from the old Bendel, now Edo State, Delta, used to dominate our boxing event. But now, because of investment in sports in Lagos State, there are so many Yoruba people coming through the ranks because there are monthly boxing tournament. There are so many events for them to participate. And you have a crop of kids like 10, 7 participating in boxing at that level. And that has led to the growth. And where we have a high number of people in that area coming through the boxing, it also shows that if we invest properly in our grassroots, we can do the best in whatever sport we want to. So if everybody can also take a cue from Lagos State, then in used to weightlifting, people from the Nigeria, from Cross River, Akwa Ibom, used to be their stronghold. We will no longer produce athletes from that area. Those are the things we need to start working on so that we can have more athletes, because youth, sport is a means of empowerment for youth. And when you look at the population of Nigeria, majority of the population falls within the youth rate. That's why government needs to invest in it. State government needs to invest in it so we can be able to grow the game. If they can take a cue from what's happening in Lagos, I think you can be able to replicate this in other states across the federation. There will be a ricocheting effect on the growth of sports in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tholu. Sorry, before I come back to you, let me get Mr. Patrick's view. Mr. Patrick, looking at the list of the participation of Nigeria in the Paris Olympics, I see more of the women performing. We have the women football, that's the Nigerian Super Falcons, and we have the Nigerian women national basketball team participating. What's your view on that? And also, adding to that, we want you to make comments about the Nigerian participation and in other games like swimming at the Olympics.
Thank you very much. I would differ from my two colleagues because I don't believe we are going to the Olympics to do any magic. The reason is very obvious. You don't develop Olympic champions in 4 years. It takes time for you to develop an Olympic champion. It can take up to 12, 14 years before you will emerge the champion. But in Nigeria, what we always hear is after Olympics, those administrators, they will tell us that preparation for the next Olympics will start immediately. And that preparation will not come up until 2 weeks to the Olympics. Yes, at the African state, we use our numerical advantage to bamboozle our way through, especially in we have our, I call it the catchment areas, like the short distance and what have you. The swimming you are talking about, we are not going to participate. It's not that we are going to win any medal, because if you look at it critically at the last all African Games, how many medals came from Olympics? Boxing, we are cool, because that's our catchment area before we lost it. I know that the time of I think Ayonote as the president of Boxing Federation, there was this tournament that was going on in Lagos, and so many talents came out who got Olympic silver medals from that preparation. But athletics, women coming in, unless we want to deceive ourselves, Nigeria is supposed to be ruled by women, because one, it took the Super Eagles 40 years to to get to the World Cup, first World Cup in 1994. But our ladies have never missed any World Cup right from inception in 1991, even when many of them were even in secondary school and they are rookies, they came and they were beaten by other countries, but they will always be there. The same thing has happened when last a Nigerian male athlete climbed the podium to collect a medal. You look at it critically, you will find out that it has been the ladies who has kept this country going. So if our ladies are performing, even at the forthcoming Olympics, I want to bet with anybody that the ladies are the ones who will return home with medals. What are the men doing? Are we investing in them? The pressure of the country has taken over the men, athletics, and the sporting area.
You have to feed the family.
Very many of us are no longer interested. We are no longer interested in going into sports. Those who are there are doing it to make body and to keep body and soul together. So taking a look at it critically. Whereas we are going to the Olympics, but what are we going to do there? Participation, because we are not ready for the medals. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Comrade Soko, just to add from what Mr. Patrick made mention of the women, and then they are the key participants in for Nigeria in Paris Olympics. I want to ask, do you think this will bring about the boost of women in Nigerian sports and grassroots development, and furthermore in politics?
Okay, I think I agree totally, 100% with what Mr. Patrick has said. Right from inception, our antecedents in this country, the sporting antecedents, shows that women have been performing much better at the Olympics. When I was still a little kid, I heard about Blessing Ukagbare. She won at I think in 1996. I think that was our first gold medal at the Olympic game. It came from a woman. So to answer your question, Mr. Ebuka, I think these women are really inspiring to the upcoming ladies in the gender. They are really inspiring the upcoming women in these sports in Nigeria. So I feel that there's also need for us to invest in our sporting sector, because we have the talents. You see, as you have mentioned, there's a long list of events that we are qualified for. There's a long list of events, and as we are qualified, there's need for us to make these funds, our sports ministry, to make the funds available for these competitors, so that they can perform very, very well. I'm glad that our Tigress, that's the basketball team, they are camping in Ghana, and I think they are going to camp in US before they go to Paris. So I think that the sports ministry made funds available in that particular sport. But they should try to diversify to other sports. Our 4x4, our athletics team, they should make these funds available. Give these individuals funds so that they will be able to feel themselves well, do the appropriate testing, as Mr. Tolu said, so that they can give the best in the 2024 Paris Games. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Kilichi, just to wrap up on this, just bringing down to what Comrade Abraham made mention of. What do you think has the ministry on ground to help rally behind these people to push them to getting good for us?
Well, I made mention earlier that I used basketball then as an example of, failure and administration not putting us on a consistent path to delivering good performance at the Olympic Games. So I laughed when Patrick mentioned that maybe we should let women rule Nigeria. Well, I think that's one thing we've not tried. Maybe we should try that.
Should let the women rule Nigeria.
Because it's like we're funding men's sports completely, and the women, you know, where we lack complete funding, are the ones delivering the performances we are hoping for from the men. So I'm a full advocate of more funding for women's sports. Of course, I don't think we've scratched funding the grassroots. You understand, a whole lot. Tolu mentioned, you know, having weightlifters from Bielsa, Delta, Rivers, Akwa Ibom. I said, why? And why don't we have swimmers there?
And then we have water bodies around that
where
area.
I saw, you know, little children being born and put inside the water, and they don't drown. You understand? So we there are things we've not done that we can do if we really call it. I mean, if it needs bringing the best coaches from outside to go to those areas and develop them from little, let's get it done. We lack funding in all aspects, but to be honest, the women have shown with their performances that we need to invest a lot more, you know, in them. I think we'll get even better, you know, of those women. I mean, that's not saying men's sports shouldn't be funded, but the women have earned it because of their performances over time. Yeah.
All right, so thank you. Ministry of Sports, please, we beckon on you to rally behind these Nigerians and help them to glory and to make positive impacts in Paris 2024. All right, Mr. Tolu, let's swift to the UEFA Champions.
Yeah.
So just a view of your view of the matches played so far and the level at which we are at the UEFA Champions.
Night of football extravaganza, succinctly describing it right there, and that's why it's arguably the biggest club competition in the whole wide world.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw with Real Madrid, never can say never. We've seen so many instances where we thought they are down and out, and they came back into the game. We saw them in the final of the UEFA Champions League against Atletico Madrid, where we thought they have wrapped it up, only for them to come back into the game and eventually won the tournament. And we saw that against Bayern Munich right there. And I think for Manu Neuer, will be looking at the mistake he made. Probably Bayern could have survived that if he had not made that mistake, and then led to the team conceding another goal that led to their exit. But that's the beauty of football, and that's why football thrives on situations like this, because there's always major points for us to talk about. So many years later, we are still talking about it. But I'm happy with the fact that Real Madrid is in the final. Though I don't want them to win it because I thought they won it too much. And in the last 5, 6, 7 years, they have been dominant when it comes to the UEFA Champions League. But the only erratic team that will play in the final is Borussia Dortmund. I think it's a Cinderella story. Nobody saw that coming. I thought probably they would have been knocked out one way or the other against PSG, against Atletico Madrid. I didn't give them a chance, but they shocked us with the way and manner they've gone about it. And when you look at their position on the Bundesliga table, 5th on the log, for a side 5th on the table, doing very well, playing the final of your UEFA Champions League. It reminded me so much of Bayer Leverkusen when Klaus Pomola was in charge of that team. They were not doing very well in the league, but they made it to the final of the UEFA Champions League, where they lost to Real Madrid right there. But we'll see how things will pan out this time around. I think it's going to be an interesting contest between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund.
All right, so Mr. Kelechi, so there's a comment from a viewer, and he's saying that Tuchel made the changes or the decisions he made between the match within the match of Bayern, because he felt the management didn't inform him of his relieving him of his job. He went ahead to the press before informing him. What do you think about that?
Okay, I wouldn't say he would do that, but you know, I faulted Tuchel yesterday. I wrote a comment on social media myself. I said Tuchel is a top manager, but he's not a top manager. That's why I wrote. I knew it was going to be, you know, people were going to respond. Now, he's big in all ramifications, but you can't divorce what happened in the last 10 minutes from his changes. The 2 live wires, you know, they had Harry Kane, Alphonso Davies, Jamal Musiala. He took out also. You understand? And what is the best thing you can do? Just look at Man United. 1 goal lead, and Erik ten Hag makes defensive changes with like 20 minutes of the game left. You've instantly told your opponent, I intend to defend this 1 goal. So, for a club like Real Madrid, at home, with all their records, all their history. That's suicidal. They were already playing well before they conceded, on the breakaway. So it gave them all that they needed, you understand. So, and they put in Joselu, and he turned the game around for them. And I have to also touch on a point of controversy. Bayern Munich should have been level. There was a goal they scored that was disallowed, and the VR didn't even call for review. And then when it was checked after, it was found that the player who scored was onside, and the goal should have stood. They put their foot down on that and said, "Oh, that's why we left." And one of the assistant referee who raised his flag has apparently apologized, but now it's too late. But I wouldn't tactically go beyond those changes. It superbly encouraged Real Madrid at a time they needed encouragement, and then calamity from the very, very solid Manuel. Once they got the leveler, it was all about Madrid, because even if the game had gone to extra time, you still fancy Madrid, because the key men for Bayern were out of the game.
All right, thank you. So Abraham Soko, just to ask, I believe you watched the semi-final, the second leg of the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, and now we have Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid as the finalists. Let's have what's your prediction?
Okay, my prediction on the final, I think Real Madrid is an institution. They have what we call football heritage working for them. So I see Real Madrid coming out on top in that final. I also think that Dortmund is not a walkover. They're actually a very good team. They have a very good teamwork, and Sancho is firing in all cylinders. I think his controversial move away from Man United has really galvanized his career, has really resurrected his career, and is performing very, very well. So I think Dortmund is not a pushover, but I think Real Madrid is going to come out on top. Also, to make a little clarification, in 1996, it was actually Shoma and Joua that won the gold medal, not Blessing Okagbare. Blessing Okagbare won in 2008. I think the bronze medal. So I just want to make a little clarification on that. That was to also buttress Mr. Patrick's point that our women have been performing in the Olympic Games from time immemorial. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Patrick. I believe you're still there with us. Now we want to move over to the English Premier League, and where we have a strong contest at the top three. Okay, top two now.
Don't write. So one Liverpool fan analysis for me. If Man City fails to win their last three matches, and Arsenal also fails to win their last two matches, they will win the league.
All right, so Mr. Patrick, let's have your view on the running on the English Premier League currently now.
Well, it has been an interesting one, and the Arsenal fans are always there shouting hey ho, and they believe that this is time for them. But when Man City is closing you up, it's just like in Nigerian league, whenever anybody is closing any team up, you have to work hard. So the way it is, it's going to be a photo finish, and I see Man City still retaining their trophy at the end of the day. Well, my Arsenal fans will have to wait a little bit further. Casey, I hope you are not annoyed with me. And it's very interesting watching the English Premiership. It has been an interest. I still maintain that the English Premiership is the best in the world over. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Tolu.
It's going to be quite interesting to see how it's going to pan out. For Arsenal, they've been working for the last 3 years trying to build this team. For Man City, it's the title is for them to lose. Talking about Man City right there, they do have if they can win their last 3 matches, they are home with the title right there. But I know Arsenal will be praying that Tottenham Hotspur can turn up to be banana peel and be able to truncate this their hope. But we'll see how it's going to work. On mathematically, you give it to Man City, but in football, you never can see them.
All right, Mr. Kelechi, Man City has won a standing match.
Yes, of course, everything hinges on that game. Is it against Fulham?
Yeah, they're playing against Fulham.
Okay,
then they have Tottenham Hotspur the next
one. If they win, I think they go top by 1 point.
1 point, yeah.
So it's good that Tolu mentioned Tottenham, because I think since the coming of Pep Guardiola, no team has given him more grief than
Than
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
But Tottenham themselves give their fans more grief than anyone else. So, and they've been on a terrible run of form. 4 games lost in a row, 13 goals conceded. Just scored 4. But they will be in this sort of form, and then they see Man City, something happens, and then they play like Man City themselves. So Arsenal will be hoping and praying that Tottenham comes up on that day. I mean, Tottenham fans themselves are torn, because how can we get the right result to help Arsenal win the league?
I think Arsenal still has Man U to play.
No, I'm talking about the North London rivalry now. Yeah. So for the other good thing for Arsenal is that they have Man U, the worst Man U any human being alive can remember. So if they can win that, their goal difference is absolutely massive. And many neutrals actually, I think, want Arsenal, right? Because particularly Man United fans, Liverpool is out of it, in my opinion, and they don't want their records broken. And I'm saying to Man United fans, you guys should sort your problems out instead of checking who is equaling your past record. You don't want to create new ones, So Arsenal and Man City, fantastic race they've given us both last season and this season. Kudos to both of them. Whoever wins, I'm good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kelechi. Comrade, I know you're a Chelsea fan, and I don't know if you're praying for Arsenal to win this. Comrade.
Okay, so I've always been of the opinion that Man City is going to win this league. I've always been of that opinion. Reason being that in recent times, they have the recent experience. They are able to cope with the pressure better. And you can see that Liverpool has fallen out of the title race. Now it's between Arsenal and Man City. But I would like to change that prediction at this point. Reason being that Arsenal is playing the best football at the moment. They are scoring freely. Also, in addition to that, Man City has to win their next 3 games to emerge winner of this league. And I have the gut feeling that Man City is going to falter. They are going to probably get a draw from one of their games. They are going to play Fulham, they are going to play Tottenham, and their last match is going to be against West Ham. I don't think Man City is going to win these next 3 games. That's my opinion. So I feel that Arsenal might just clinch this.
All right, thank you. So now, gentlemen, that's for the international sports. Now let's come down to FCT here, and I want us to talk about the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, FCT chapter. And before we make further ado, I would like Mr. Patrick just give us a breakdown, if just like an introduction and telling someone who doesn't know what SWAN FC chapter is. Mr. Patrick.
The Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, FCT chapter. We in the last 4 years or thereabout, we made effort to come together as one, but one thing or the other has made it impossible. But this time around, we decided to come together as a family and return to where we were coming from. A unifying election was held on 26th of April, where 2 positions, that of the chairman, good enough, the 2 chairmanship candidates are sitting beside you there, and the treasurer were tied. And tomorrow, being the 10th of February, we'll be again on the probe to ensure that we'll bring one of those sitting beside you as chairman of FCT SWAN for the next 3 years. And that is where we are now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Patrick. So, gentlemen, just like Mr. Patrick said, both of you here are candidates for the elections tomorrow. So I don't really want to say we're bringing back your campaign here, but I just want to know what's your plan for SWAN.
I think the most important thing is the unity of the association. Yeah. Just like the chairman of the electoral committee said right there, for the last 3 years, we'll be like Israelite trying to find our way in the wilderness. And we're gathering with there's a ray of light, and we are coming together to work together as one indivisible family. Like I've always been saying, and when you look at the list of people that are registered to be part of this election, 161 members. So you can imagine if 161 members speak with one voice, the ricocheted effect it will have on the sports enclave in the Federal Capital Territory. And that's why it's important important that we come together and work as one indivisible family. And the fact remains that it's time for us to also put the interests of the association first and let people the members be able to realize that when we come together as one, we can be able to do a whole lot of things together. And there's one thing we've always not been taking for granted, we've not really been doing regularly, training of our members. Most times we leave it for people to also go for masters, people go for their doctorate degree and stuff like that. But within the association, we should also be able to do that, to be able to give opportunity. We have veterans among us, people who have been practicing this profession in the last 20 years, 30 years, and who can also be able to give back to the evolving youth we have among us. There should be need for this regular interchange of training that we hope to. I hope that I can be able to bring on board, leverage on the experience of the veterans, and also bring in some also professionals from our side to join up and be able to train some of our members. And one key thing is very important: transparency. For our members to believe in you, you must also, for them to have faith in you, you must also show them that you are coming to the table with cleaners. Let our members be able to know whatever entitlement that they are supposed to get will get to them. We must be able to move away from the era where people stay back at assignment venues and stuff like that. People should go back, and whatever they are supposed to get will surely get to them. Once there is trust, it's easy for people to believe in you. It's easy for people to say, you can go ahead, do everything on their behalf. We know you are going to come to us with equity. You are going to come to us with open hands. And once there is trust, then you can expect loyalty from their members. When you talk about loyalty, the ability to be able to speak with one voice. And that's what we're trying to build. And that's what I'm focusing on, to have that transparency, to be able to have trust in me, and for me to be able to get their loyalty back in return. And like I've also been talking about it, wherever I go, there is need for us to be able to look for means to empower our members. Cooperatives is something that we've not really taken it serious to look at. Some of us are struggling, are working in places where they don't get regular pay. Some are also working, probably they do their own business by themselves. But cooperatives can help us to be able to acquire properties, to be able to talk with the Federal Capital Territory, to see the possibility of giving land to small members. And those are the things I also plan that we can do. Without even tasking so much of our members, we work out modalities that members don't even know they are dropping something in that cooperative, but it's being done by the association. Those are some of the things I hope that I can be able to do if I emerge as the chairman of the association.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tolu. Mr. Kelechi, I picked some interest in what he has said, but I want to know, what are your own plans?
First of all, when you organize an unofficial chairmanship debate, let the candidates know. So you jump that on me. Yeah. But well, I'm here already. So okay. First of all, usually a lot of what Tolu said will have to go for me, because unity. Building of capacity, of course, we can't differ on that. I mean, if we differ on that, that means we shouldn't be chairmanship candidates. So that capacity building, you understand, is absolutely important. I always say that I would love an FCT SWAN chapter where every FCT SWAN member can, when I say I want to use the word threaten, can threaten any available new job in the industry. The reason I use the word threaten is that you should be qualified to take that job. It is the number one consideration, right? To be a SWAN member, that you are a competent SWAN member. If you're a photojournalist, a presenter, a producer, you work in print, radio, or social media, you should be absolutely competent, so that anytime they say that's an FCT SWAN member, you proudly pump your chest and say, yes, I am. Now all that wouldn't make sense if we don't have unity. We're coming from a rocky period, heading to a period where we all hope to talk from the same side of the table, move forward in unison together. Now, to do that, if I do get in there as chairman, which I hope, will be the case, there are lots of hands that need to be reached out. At the end of wars, you see dialogue, former combatants come together, sit around, talk, smooth over the differences, and try to shake hands. When we have that done, all the other projects, all the other plans, you understand, can take off. FCT SWAN has been there for decades now. The members are basically just members. We pay yearly and re-register, and then it's just about that you wait for the next payment, you register. What really has been the impact, on the lives of the FCT SWAN members? You understand? We don't have health insurance, we don't have car insurance, we don't have all the other perks you see in even very small societies. To only mention 161 members, that's significant. I belong to groups where they're just about 10 or 12, and we've got things happening, right? And how can we have an organization that's been there since the 90s and we don't have any of these structures in place? So all those are part of the things I'm trying to get the FCT SWAN members, and our relationships with the sports administrators will have to be strengthened and enhanced. Coverage of sporting events within and outside of Nigeria has suffered a bit in recent times because of the low numbers of media men who are traveling for these things. It can be made possible that more numbers go. The more that go, the better it is for the administrators themselves. They need to see the need to reinvest, in cooperation with FCT SWAN, and that I aim to do fully. The cooperative thing, also a good one. You need to look at, you understand, make it, I've always said it is a cornerstone of my candidature, making this FCT SWAN financially solvent, where they have their own money. It's not like an association that is floating in the air, which it looks like that's all we are. We can't fund any major thing now if we, you understand, were to try to undertake that. There are things, there are collaborations that can be made. We need a new offices, you understand, where we use currently. I don't think that's adequate for us. We need an office that is befitting for an organization like FCT SWAN. Lagos SWAN used to rule the roost when Lagos was the sports city. Right now, Abuja is sports city, but we don't recognize it because it's not been taken to that pedestal, to let everyone know. Luckily, some other places with strong SWAN chapters have got crisis, and intractable years have gone by, they can't sort it out. FCT face their own head on and have decided to move forward as one body, and I believe I'll be the best man, to make that one body succeed, and I'm absolutely committed, to that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're running out of time now, and so in 30 seconds, sir, what are your plans to curb the press suppression, especially within sports rights association?
So did you say press
suppression of the
Can you explain a little bit more on that so that I don't answer wrongly? That suppression.
All right. So suppression in terms that there are. Just like someone said yesterday, you have a freedom of speech, but the freedom after speaking, it's not secured.
Okay, well, in fact, it's a tragedy that we even have to talk about press suppression, right? That's both within and outside of SWAN now, right? So we are media people. We should be the ones who should never. It should never be possible to suppress us because we tell it as it is. Now, suppression becomes easy when you don't do your job with sincerity, right? You feel, okay, better press for this guy, bad press for the other guy. You understand? I cannot, talk about myself good in public and then smear, Tolu, elsewhere. So the thing is, call out, say it as it is. It guarantees your integrity. Your character, stands out once you do that. So press suppression will reduce once we are united. If we are united, I mean, in the past, I've been at events where ministers kept sportsmen and women waiting, and when they came, we let them know. You understand? In unequivocal terms that, look, we don't like this. Please let that not happen again. We've got where, administrators in the past insulted, gentlemen of the media, and we said, oh, really? If you don't apologize, then you're not going to get any cooperation from us. They get a whole lot. All the NFF we talk about, sports ministry we talk about, all the sporting federations. If the media keeps quiet for 1 month, the president of the country will call and say, is sports dead in this country? So everything you hear we are the ones who make the world know about it. So once we are sincere in what we do, the respect will be restored from the administrators and amongst ourselves. There will be no backbiting, nobody trying to earn off the misfortune of a fellow member, and we will be back on track, and like I said, moving forward in unison as we really should. We've got to do the job the way it should be done.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
up to you, sir.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. I think for us to be able to fight that, we need to work together as one indivisible body. And the fact remains, we've had instances where some of our members have been taken to court because of a report they have written in the past and stuff like that. But we need to come together, and our members should also be able to work as just to see that our members work with facts, not a figment of their own imagination. People can't just take story from anywhere and just write about
That's
it.
right.
That can really lead to indictment and stuff like that. There has to be proper verification. You have to have your fact. That's why at times when you interview somebody, you put immediate, you record, you have the voice. When you interview, keep records of those things. So because you never can tell when somebody may talk to you right now, and the next minute he was going to deny it. But what evidence do you have to back up your bed? When you have those records properly kept somewhere, you can bring it out and be able to defend. Those are some of the things we will definitely encourage our members to do. So there won't be a case where somebody can wake up and just say, "You've done this for me, I'm going to take you to court," and start threatening you. And because of that, you find it difficult to be able to carry out your job. Those are the things we work with our members. So that's why unity is very important. When we work together as in unity, we can be able to fight as one body. And it's difficult for anybody to suppress us when we are speaking with one voice. But when it's just like one person, you can easily suppress that body. But when you are talking about the whole organization, association of 461 people, and you have somebody taking the story from this angle, another person taking it, how many people are you going to fight? It's difficult. So when we work together, we can be able to fight this cause. And I think that's one major area that I've also been trying to see how we can be able to make that happen if I emerge as the chairman of the association.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Patrick, please, just in a form of rounding up this section, what's your final say on the SWAN's preparation for tomorrow's by-elections, and just give us your last word for today.
Thank you very much. The election will kick off by 9. We'll start with the accreditation and voting, because we have limited, I think we have about 3 hours to use the hall. The military will make use of the hall later. So we expect the two gentlemen sitting there to always talk to their people. It is not a do or die affair. If it is Tolu this year, it can be Kelechi next time. So we're all going to work together. Everything is in place, and everybody is happy that we'll have a new chairman next tomorrow. By tomorrow, we'll have a new chairman of SWAN. So, gentlemen, I will wish you the best of luck once again, and I know very well that 2 of you are capable of taking SWAN to the next level. And just like the press freedom you are talking about in sports, it starts from the leadership. If we have a capable leader who can speak for us, we can always make things happen. Those of us who are here in the past, we know with FCT SWAN, we bring ministers to their knee. There was a minister who kept us, just like what Kelechi was pointing out. The minister kept us waiting for more than 3-4 hours. And he walked into the hall. We told him, "Sorry, Mr. Minister, you gave us 12 o'clock, we are here."
All right, so thank you. This brings to an end.
Any one of them will give us the best. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Mr. Suku, I believe you've heard Mr. Kelechi and Mr. Tolu speak, and also Mr. Patrick speaking. So, in 30 seconds, what's your last word concerning this?
Okay, thank you very, very much. I want to start by wishing Mr. Kelechi and Mr. Tolu the best of luck tomorrow. I also want to advise them, whoever emerges, I want to advise the person that emerges winner to be magnanimous in victory. And he should also consult past leaders and gather from their wealth of experience, because I don't think he can do it alone. He cannot be an island. Also, I believe there are also very experienced stakeholders like Mr. Patrick. We should from time to time relate with them and see the best course of action for the SWAN Association and the SWAN body. Thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, thank you all for the time we have for today. That's all we can take. Thank you for joining us for on Now Streaming. We hope you enjoyed discussion we've had on the newspaper headlines and the latest sports news, and finally the Swan talks on Swan. So thank you, Mr. Tolu, for finding time.
Thank you, Buka, for having me right here. My first time here. I think I've had the best of time.
All right, thank you. Also, Mr. Kelechi, I appreciate so. I want to also apologize for putting you on the crossfire.
All right, thank you. And just my final word is Tolu is right here. Yeah, we've been friends for years. I've known him for years.
Yeah.
So that he's my opponent. It happens. This is we're trying to lead an organization. Whatever be the outcome, my relationship with him is not going to change. You understand? That's just where I want to end it. Like I said, it's not a do or die affair, and I'm very happy to be here. I would like to be back someday.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kelechi. Also online, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Patrick Odogu. He's the Odogu of Swan FC. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Tolu and Pacey, both of you, where are you taking me to Nikon tomorrow?
We'll see tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Comrade, we're not forgetting you. Thank you so much for always joining us from Delta. He's a sports analyst.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, so
thank you very much, Mr. Ebka.
All right, thank you. So viewers, please don't forget to tune in next time for more exciting topics and analysis. But until then, goodbye and have a great day.